Okay, good. Let's do that one. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this week's Ask the Experts. My name is Carl Capolingua. I'm the market analyst over here at Think Markets Australia, and it's a pleasure to be joining you today as we delve into the depths of your portfolio and try and help you understand which stocks to keep, which stocks to turf out, and maybe point out a few other interesting ones. We'll do all of that after we discuss the disclaimer, which says that the content of this presentation is general in nature, has not taken into account your personal financial circumstances or particular needs. So before acting upon any of this general advice, you should consider it carefully or seek the help of a financial professional. The rest of the information in that disclaimer is important, and you can read all about it from our website. Head over there, download a product disclosure statement. Okay, over to you. It's pretty simple today. We're going to try and get to as many requests as possible. I have remembered one thing. The reason why it's a little bit late today is the icon spreadsheet wasn't working. So I did a big restart of my computer, and fingers crossed. Let's have a look. Fingers crossed. Is it going to come back for us today? Retrieving, and 2 thumbs up. The restart did it. That's the extent of my my technical troubleshooting knowledge. Turn the computer off and turn it back on again. Okay, let's head over to the charts. We're going to go here, and fingers crossed I'll be able to change the screens today. I will, where possible, do a fundamental and technical. What I might do very, very quickly is do a quick whip around the grounds, and super quick, because I know I do this on Mondays, and head to the YouTube channel and watch that one, the weekly analysis session. But I said yesterday, for the US stocks in particular, that there was nothing in the candles to suggest a downturn, right? And obviously last night was down, and I stand by that statement. There was nothing in the candles, or white candles here on the Dow Jones 30, to suggest it. I suspected it was a possibility, but there was nothing there. And I can't, as I said yesterday, I can't see the future. But it was interesting to see it come finally. And you all know my opinion on the way the market's been going lately. And I'm a trend follower, so I have to concede that the short-term trend was up, but I am waiting for kind of the reality of the global economic situation to sink in. And last night with this value trade, we'd see how well value has done compared to the growth trade there. And we're looking, of course, at the NASDAQ versus the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So Dow Jones Industrial Average, 30 biggest stocks, big blue chip stocks, the stocks you go to when you have to buy, but you don't really want to buy, but you've just got all this cash coming in, so you got to buy something. So you go buy those Dow Jones 30 stocks, those ones there. And the comp stocks, the growth stocks, a lot of stocks with very high PEs or even pre-earnings. They're not even earning money yet, and they're heavily reliant on debt funding. So when interest rates go from zero to through the roof, these are the stocks that tend to suffer the most. And hey, you don't need me to tell you this. There it is in the chart, everyone. It's clear as day, the difference between the growth trade and the value trade. But what was interesting last night is the value trade came off. So I wonder what that's going to mean. So we start this session on a little bit of an uncertain note, and perhaps the Santa rally that we're all assuming. Maybe we had it. Maybe we just had it a little bit early this year. Okay, let us head to the requests. Craig, super quick today. And I'm going to do a mix of Twitter where they come in. People tweet at me, reply to the stream that you're watching live, or YouTube. You can also use the chat window there, and I'll try and get to those. And I'm also streaming on Facebook and LinkedIn as we speak. I'm not sure how to access those, but hey, if you can figure it out, try and send questions in. I'll try and get to them. Okay, let's over here. Prices are correct as of the 9 o'clock my time, so 12 o'clock Sydney time candle. We wanted SBM. Not sure why it didn't come up. There it is. The way it works, if you're new to the system, I look at the chart, I tell you what I think, I give you buy, hold, and sell. I might give you some probabilities as to where I think they're going. I'll do some technical analysis. Hopefully you'll learn a few things, and then if generally if you've got time or there's enough interest in the stock, we'll do some fundamentals. So Barbara's first on screen. It's a gold miner, if you're not aware. Overall trend clearly established to the downside. That's that long-term trend zone. You can just see how well, how well my trend zone works at bashing down prices when prices get back up to it in a downtrend. So there, and there, and we're nowhere near it here. But a very well-established trend. I don't think you want to fight that for obvious reasons. On the way up, let's see if there is an on the way up. Yeah, look, on the way up, it tends to support prices. I think that's pretty obvious here as well. Sometimes you don't get back there. When you break below, you've got a problem. We push back, break below, and then forcing prices down, forcing prices down, forcing prices down. So I can do this one very quickly now. Long-term downtrend. It's not something I'm looking to buy. Yes, the short-term trend potentially is changing. I say potentially because it has dragged itself back into a contraction between my 21 and 34 EMAs. If you're not sure what the EMAs are, they are over here. I've got nothing to hide from you. But yeah, far from turning up, and then you've got this big problem up here. So I'm not sure why we're really interested in this one. You know, I guess gold's rallying. Is this the one to get? For me, no, I can't see it. And not to say it won't go up. Hey, it can go up, but is this the best one out there? Be the question. I won't know until I look at the rest of the gold charts. But it's too early for this for me. And you know, hey, you know, you're going to do what you're going to do. If I can find some positives, yeah, look, the candles aren't terrible, and we've got a bit of price action in here, which is again not terrible, but it's just not a battle I want to fight. I want easy wins where I can find, hey, the market's hard enough as it is. I want to find easy wins. I'm just not sure this is an easy win. So hey, I'm not saying it's going to crash at all. I'm not saying it's not going to go down. That's my caps lock. I just don't think it's the one that I want to trade today. And it's not giving. There it is. Oh, I thought I had it. You know, perfectionist. There it is. So it's pass from me. I will super quickly, if only just to make sure this thing is still working. Look at the fundamentals, and what we're doing here gives me a chance to introduce the Refinitiv Icon spreadsheet. So this is data which comes from Thomson Reuters. You can see we get the broker estimates in here. We get their ratings over here. We've got 8 estimates in total, 3 buys, 4 holds, and only 1 strong sell, which is baffling to me because I bet you there are a bunch of brokers out there strong selling the hell out of it looking at that chart. Yet somehow they're telling you to buy. Their price target is 84 cents, which is 30% above where it is. Looking at the EPS line, which is where I typically go next, we've got a huge plunging earnings. Well, there you go. This is the thing. People think technical analysis is some sort of hocus pocus, witch doctor mumbo jumbo. It's not. It's just charts and trends are just a reflection of what's happening on the earnings line. And look how much earnings have come down. And that's why St Barbara has been going down. Looking forward, FY23 ain't going to be much better. We've got a negative growth rate there, and then it starts to improve if you believe they're going to turn things around after that. I'm not going to go any further than that. I'm not even going to bother valuing this. It's too much of a long shot for me. Jeez, there you go. That's the first one. I've got to get that out of the way. St Barbara, very quickly recapping. There's your estimates. There's your price target. There's your buys and sells. There's your EPS line plunging, as I said, the chart reflecting that. And then there's your hope that next year will be the worst year, and then it'll get better from there. And as I said, I'm going to keep moving. Let us go back to here and go to the next one. IPT coming from Robert. Don't have any requests coming through from the YouTube, which is odd. Normally I get a bunch of them, so maybe I've done something wrong there. Apologies if you're watching me in the recording. Impact Minerals, it's Sketchorama, because if you look at the, just get down to the bottom, make sure everything's still going, change the screen. Thanks, Ryan. Sketchorama here. And how do I know? Well, you don't get these properly formed candles, you just get little blocks. So the open, high, low, close are all clumped together. And, you know, we're at a 0.6% stock as well. Could it go up? Maybe. Yeah, I can't. It's random, completely random stuff here. There's not much I can do with that. Hey, I'm not going to be able to give you the definitive answer on anything, much less trying to give you a definitive answer on something that's less than a cent. There's a little bit of demand coming in here, and by little I mean wow, a tiny little bit of demand. You know, volume. It's like the volume on your stereo. I do say this quite often. When the neighbours across the road have turned that volume way up, the party's pumping, you can hear that. You'll go over and you'll join in, you'll crash that party. There's very little volume here. Nobody's paying attention to it. It's too easy to ignore. It's not one I'm interested in. I'm sorry for that. Analysis or lack thereof, Roberto. Look, the short-term trend is up. That's all I can say. Let's keep moving. Hi, King. Apologies for being boring today. See, I don't think CSL's that boring at all. I think it's actually starting to look really interesting now, and look, a little bit baffling for me. I'm not. Geez, what was that about? What was that about? Anyway, because here we liked it. We thought it was looking really good. We obviously clearly on past scratchings, we noted some significant points of supply. Funnily enough, that point of supply there is still relevant. So very easy for me just to extend that across. And you can see we're breaking through it. So if we close here today, and this is a live candle, right, as of midday Sydney time, it looks like it's going to do that. And then your next target is simply up to here. So 100% hold. I can't see any reason at all why you would sell this. You know, pretty lousy market overall, and it's heading up. So yeah, very, very solid hold. You know, and as I said, I think on Wednesday I did the call. I said, look, a long-term buy, no troubles with CSL. It's a company I do like. If you're interested in what this stuff looks like, let's do it right this time with changing the screens. And I'm curious to see what the brokers are up to on CSL. We've got 15 estimates. So when you think about those estimates, you know, you've got a huge range of brokers there giving their opinions. So I think this data is quite accurate. Don't forget that the data up to FY22, that's in the bag. That's actually happened. And then we've got the forecast numbers from here. Okay. And my philosophy on using a spreadsheet like this, rather than having to go and crunch the numbers for myself, is I could spend hours, I could spend days, I could spend weeks analysing the intricacies of CSL, but I'm probably not going to do it better than these 15 individuals. And they're not individuals, they're whole teams. There'd be a whole team of analysts at UBS analysing CSL. So why am I going to bother trying to replicate their work? I'm going to use the consensus. And that really is my philosophy with investing anyways, through technical analysis and trend following, is just follow the consensus. I'm not smarter than these guys. I just need to piggyback them. Anyway, 3 buys, 3 strong buys, 11 buys, 2 holds. No sells, no strong sells for whatever it's worth. Price target is 320, let's call it 6% higher than the current price, although that current price might be a little bit old because these numbers tend to be day arrears for this icon spreadsheet. Looking at the EPS line next, and it's been a bit wobbly through COVID, no doubt, but the growth is coming, and it's coming big time. So 17% EPS growth, compound annual growth rate through the next 4 FYs is spectacular. You know, the market's probably going to average 7%. You know, 6-7% is pretty typical. So to go 17 is quite extraordinary. And it starts to justify the crazy high PEs that you're paying for this. But the growth is in there, it's coming down. The PEG could be better. Typically you want that to be 1 or less. But you know, you're paying up. You're paying up for CSL. That's the message here. I'm happy to go risk level low. I'm happy to go with the market PE, the market median PE, which is 28.2. I don't think I would change that. Look, if anything, I might say, oh, well, you know, CSL, I could easily go 30. I could easily go 35. You know, I don't think I'm a 40. I don't think I'm a 40 for CSL. Well, it's quality. Anyway, look, I think it's at least fair valued. If anything, it's probably on the right side of fair value. I can't see any reason for me to say, no, absolutely hands down, this is incorrect. I think that's about right. So if that's your view, the technicals look pretty good. The fundamentals look pretty good for 320, and I can't see why we can't get there. So what we're doing here, back to the technicals, is saying that, you know, the fundamentals and technicals come together. And for some people, that's what they like to hear. For me, hey, I prefer just to look at the chart. Horses for courses. Okay, let's do, we have the YouTubers have joined us. Hello, streamers. Andrew, check out C29. Here we go. I think it looks good. It could look better. I'm concerned, Andrew, about this candle here. You know, bit of supply in there up to 36. And, you know, pretty much confirmed over the next few days. Look, there's nothing so sinister in the next batch of candles to say that you need to panic. And we are in this area here. So I could absolutely go a hold. I do think that if you were in it early, you might have wanted to have knock a little bit out there, but otherwise it's a hold on the balance and just waiting and watching, seeing how it's going. But it looks very strong. The volume looks small here, but that's only because everything got thrown out of whack by this massive volume day here. So the volume's up, people are listening to it. For me to get into it, okay, we would need to see some pretty decent candles come in. So this is, if you're not in it and you're thinking about, well, what do you need to see to get into it? I want to see something at the very least, it looks like this. And ideally, there's a bit of volume in there as well to suggest that we have removed some of the supply that's been building up over the last few sessions. So something like that would definitely get my interest back into C29 Metals. Let's do another streamer, IGO. This one's from Sergio. I know this is a very popular company. Well, this is interesting. How many times? Oh, look, manager exit. I don't know. Well, I wonder when we did that. Manager exit at 1560. Up around here. I'm not sure. Can't expect me to remember everything I say every Tuesday. But what we often look for in our Tuesday sessions, I'm going to, no, I don't, no, because it's not a higher high. So, yep, this is the one I'm looking for. Good. That's the price section I want to draw. And might go back here, and this is the level. So this is that key pod, isn't it, that we keep talking about. When something's been doing really well in an uptrend, that's your key pod there. Obviously, this is your POS, and this is your POS. And if you don't know what your pods and your POSs are, they're point of supply, POS, and point of demand. And these, look, you're going to get lots of sketchy charts, and they're less important when the candles aren't spectacular, right? But these candles here, I mean, that double black, that's pretty impressive. And then you've got this big black here, and then you've got your growing 3 blacks through here. So really, for me, there's every reason on this third batch, you know, just anticipating almost really the break of the pod, going minus 1/3, and then on the break of the pod, minus 1/3. And really all you'd have left, I think, in IGO is 1/3 at this point in time. Some people say, hey, Carl, are you mental? Seriously, did your mother drop you on your head as a baby? Which she actually did, by the way. I rolled off a washing machine, landed on my head. That must explain why you're selling IGO, Carl, because, you know, do you know how many battery metals these things have? And haven't you seen those charts? They go in terms of all of the demand for these battery metals. And I say, look, keep talking. I'm just going to go over here and play Tetris. I get all that stuff, but at the end of the day, everybody else knows that stuff as well. Okay, just as well as you, maybe even better than you. There's a bunch of supply coming in. I don't know why. Do you? Okay, I bet you don't. That should scare the pants off you even more. You don't even know why that supply is coming in, but you can see it's coming in. What do they know that you don't know? The other thing is here, I think this is a pretty decent level. Let me draw that in green. So that was the area of demand. That was a significant area of demand, and today's a key day. Look, we kind of hit it with a thud yesterday. Today we actually cracked it. We're trying to bounce. Sometimes you do get a run off the stop, so a bunch of people will place stops in here, right? So we've even talked about this idea of putting your stop loss safely behind points of demand. So, you know, it's a sensible thing to do, but this is why you don't put it straight. So if that low there, this is a top tip here. So that low there is 1442. If you're not sure, you'll see up here. So 1442. So you wouldn't put your stop loss at 1441. That's just silly, because there are funds out there that will hunt those stops. So generally I go at least 1%. You don't say 5 cents, because what's 5 cents on BHP compared to 5 cents on that little specky mining stock IPT that we looked at? Wasn't even a cent. So generally you go percentage based. I say a minimum of 1%. You go up to 2% depending on how safe you want to feel. Obviously, the wider you put your stop, the more potentially you could lose. So that's the drawback. But you don't want to go straight under that. So you look at the low today, for example, 1424, 1422, 2% stop would have kept you safe, 1% wouldn't, for example. Now that's only an issue if it just goes straight back up, which I don't think it's going to do anyway. But my point is, this is a key area of demand, and you did see it's getting tickled. It's getting tickled today. Okay, I do have an update coming through. I might click on that to be line ball as to whether we get it, because it's 20 past the hour, and we'll see how we go. I think I've given you everything you need to know on that. I don't think I can answer that any better. I wonder what this was here, whether we had 1560. What's that low there? That low is 1515. So I wonder why we said 1560 manage your exit. I can't remember. Okay, let's let's go here. IGO very quickly, and we've click that update again, and we're going to go back to the streamers, and we'll just make sure I've got them, and then we're going to do DTL next from Peter. Okay, IGO 14 brokers, 9 buys, 4 holds, 2 sells. That's interesting. EPS line, you can see that it has shrunk in 2021, then bounced back. So maybe COVID related, I would suspect. And then big. Well, there you go. I mean, solid growth through here. I can't keep this low, not like CSL. I definitely got at least moderate. I don't think I'll use that target. I'll use the market's estimation, which I think 10 is probably too cheap. And I tend to just go equals this, which is the furthest one out, go to target. So no, it still looks, unless I'm missing something or I've done something horribly wrong here, I can't say that IGO is a screaming bargain based upon what I'm seeing here. We're paying 33 times, probably because we're cycling a bit of a, no, I mean, I could change that. Doesn't get much better. So just based upon mine, just trying to figure out why it's not. Oh, okay. No, I've read that. I've read that completely wrong. Sorry, I've misread that. 186. We're not going up from there. We're going down. That's why. We've got decreasing earnings. Sorry, maybe I looked at a different line, but or I've just misinterpreted it. But no, we've got earnings falling, and that's why. Yeah, whenever I see that, my spreadsheet will go, don't like those falling earnings. Okay. Anyway, for you to consider. Okay. Let's keep moving. We've got DTL, I promised, coming up next. Well, this looks interesting. I know it's one we've been watching for a while, and you kind of have to have been holding the faith or keeping the faith. I still think it looks fine, Peter. I don't think there's anything so sinister in there that you need to panic out at this stage. Look, happy to hold. Is it a buy? Look, geez, it's slow. Do I want to buy that? I mean, the leopard doesn't change its spots. I don't know what's... The candlestick shop doesn't change its candles. I don't know. It just looks really slow. I can go a hold. I think I'm going to go too hard for the buy on that one. A4N, Alpha 4N. I know that's been popping up. Well, there you go. So that looks half decent. And I think the last time we talked about this, we noted it was popping up, and I would have said something like this, which is, hey, watch out for those bad boys in that zone, and that would be your opportunity to sell. We haven't seen that yet. I think happy to hold. I think today's candle is actually pretty handy as well for a resumption of this short-term uptrend, which is very well entrenched, and maybe even a move into that zone. But I think you want to be a bit conservative there, just given the history and the supply and the sketchiness of some of these candles. If you get that chance, Peter, I'd say knock a little bit out when you get into, say, 69, 69, 70. I think you just want to take some just for the sake of just locking in some profit. You can always buy it back if it starts to break out, but I don't think it'll break out. See, I don't think it's going to get through here very quickly. Okay, I think it'll spend a lot of time here, and why not then have just a little bit of profit taken out as you feel better about it. This is the thing. Once you take that profit, because we don't use this all in and all out approach anymore. That's what, if I've taught you one thing, that's what it is. Once you take a little bit of profit on something, you feel better about it, right? It's not all on the line now. You go, I knocked some out. So you're more likely now to hold on to the rest of it, rather than sitting there being jittery, waiting to sell this, right? The whole lot, just get out, and then you alleviate that emotional burden of having that profit. Think about what I just said. You're alleviating the emotional burden of having a profit. A profit shouldn't be an emotional burden. And taking a little bit of profit will help you with that, I think. Okay, let us keep moving. We've done CSL for Warren. Let's do RNU, which is one of my favorite stocks. Now, what happened yesterday was a big candle. I think they got approval. They got the final approval from the South Australian government. I didn't see maybe something nameplate capacity less than expected. Look, maybe it just got up to this supply zone and it's buy the rumor, sell the fact. And that does happen, let's face it. So I'm going to draw just to the bottom of this candle here. If you're wondering why I'm drawing it that big, in fact, there's a bit of supply here. Look, I think this is the supply zone. Okay, so, and I'm using the top of this. So it's where is the supply coming in? So if you want to draw them on your charts, draw my boxes, and do draw my boxes, everybody. I think they're just great tools to visualize very quickly where demand supplies to the market. And I'm going to say demand is, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm going to say demand is, I'm going to draw around here, I think, and don't worry, one's bigger than the other. It's not really that relevant. It's just the location of them. This is obviously your supply zone here, and then you've got your demand zone down here. So yeah, look, possibly also just hitting a zone where a bunch of people finally got back to break even and they took that opportunity. Look, where to from here? I think it's fine. look, that's the message. I think this is all good. I'm not too stressed out about this. Even that candle from yesterday, as bad as it looked at one stage, the demand started to come in. I know it slipped a bit today, but there's demand. There is demand working in the system here, and I think you've got weaker hands getting out. So I'm a happy holder here. I don't think you need to stress out too much. What would cause you to stress? Okay, so we talk about what's happening now, then we talk about what would make things worse in the future. So because there is supply, we've seen supply, so we need to discuss this scenario. Okay, what we don't want to see is why did you do that? What we don't want to see is that classic lower POS, right? And then the break of the pod. Okay, so repetition is the mother of all learning. I truly believe that, and that's why I do this for you each Tuesday, right? Because eventually, hopefully, it sinks in. But only then, yeah, would I start to get concerned. So I get concerned if I saw the big black candles here. What's that going to look like? We know what it's going to look like. It's going to look like that one. And let's fill that one in. Yep. Or the other one, it could look like that we call it. Yeah, I've called them the supply buddies in the past. We've got the demand buddies and the supply buddies, and that is your supply buddy there. So imagine that one. Imagine this is not the easiest tool to draw with, I apologize, but either of those two in that zone, that would be the minus third if you saw those there, and then you've got another third back on the pod, and then you might want to see how you go on the last third. Okay, let us head to the streamers now, and I'll double check the tweeters. Nothing, no tweeters yet. No tweeters yet. I don't think there's any Facebookers yet. First time streaming on those platforms. PSI, which is PSC Insurance PSI, which I'm a happy holder there, I think. Let's go zoom normal, get back to my default zoom. This one is for Scott. Hi, Scott. Yeah, look, it's okay. It's not knocking my socks off because of just the number of black candles that are in the system, but the trend is okay. Do you hear how many times I said okay? It's okay. Look, I think it's a hold. There's obviously your supply. Your demand is down here, and as long as that continues to hold, I think you continue to hold. Look, it's not knocking my socks off. What was the other one I said earlier on? That data 3. You know, it's kind of a data 3. In fact, yeah, these could be siblings, couldn't they? DTL and PSI. I think DTL would be the one you would prefer to suffer on instead of PSI. Weebit, this one's always a ripper. Let's do Weebit. It had a bit of a pullback since last I saw it, but I think it's going okay. So that last candle, I did get that update through, and that should be fine. So I think this is okay here. So it's holding this. The demand candle there is looking pretty healthy, but it's a live candle. So I really would want it to close here or better. So the current close is 319. So 319 or better today would make me feel better about holding it. I can't see anything so sinister otherwise. I mean, it did go lower peaks and troughs, but that's past tense. You see that little pos, but it was so little. It's not. I'm not going to even for a moment tell you that you should have been on top of that. That's just silly. So let's just say we're a hold on the basis that this candle continues to be a healthy one. Could I buy it here? That's an interesting question. Let's have a look at where we would expect demand to come in. And it's not that one. Gosh, the flipping between the demand and supply zones is not an easy one. Look, it's pretty close, and the price action downtrend would be the only thing that keeps me out. And you might want to wait if you're a bit more conservative, just for a little bit of a price action uptrend. So a little pop, pull back, a little hook, where now the POSs, all right, the POSs. Yep, are rising, right? And then you get the opposite scenario. Okay, you get some nice candles, nice white candles in here. What do they look like? Like that one or that one, and they will change in a second. I can assure you. I like to draw them once each week, so I don't have to draw them all the time. So that one there and that one there, and you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw that. So if you see, either of those two candles sort of on that second POS, then I could upgrade it to buy, but I'm a happy holder for now. Okay, let us head back to the zoomers. Let's go CXL This one for John. Oh, we've got some scratchings here, don't we? I don't know. I think I was saying, look, these are the things that need to occur. It hasn't done so poorly, perhaps, because, you know, some nice candles in here. The pullback, look, it's still on the path. It still needs to complete this pattern, John, of getting up to that trend zone, dealing with it, pushing through before I could upgrade it to a buy. In the meantime, you know, you could hold it. You're the point where you're really thinking about changing that thesis is beneath here. And again, you might go 2% beneath that low, so 472, you know, give or take 10 cents, 462, and you're done. Because I think if you're getting down here, you're heading back towards those lows again. So it's a very conditional hold at this stage, and no, I'm not getting to a buy today compared to the last time you asked me. PME, I think, is closer to a buy. For obvious reasons, the trend is up, and you know, I sound like a broken record, but you know, why do the fund managers, not me, who cares what I think? Seriously, stop thinking. Stop. If you're listening right now, stop thinking what I think matters. It doesn't. What you think doesn't matter either. All that matters is what the demand and supply are doing. And hey, for whatever reason, there's more demand than supply on this one than on CXL. Does that make Pro Medicus a better company than CXL? Probably. The only thing I'd be concerned about here, look, happy holder, we are approaching a pretty decent supply zone there, and just keep an eye on the candles. You get the supply buddies in there, those black candles or the candles with the upper shadows. Be concerned if you get white candles in there. We're heading up to the next zone. You know, let's keep things as simple as that. Until then, happy holder. Yes, you might say, hey, Carl, what about these? Are these scaring you? Are these giving you cause for concern? No, not really. I think they're pretty mild. Hey, I could be wrong, and tomorrow you could get the biggest black candle. I can't tell you the future. I'm so sorry. I wish I could, but you know, that could be tomorrow. There's nothing in the chart to suggest that's going to happen, but I don't know what announcements are going to come next. Okay, case in point, we had Whitehaven last week. I said, hey, you know, Whitehaven's looking good. I think it was this day here. And then I think the director came out and sold millions of dollars worth of shares. I can't see that coming. We might as well look at Whitehaven. I think I'm a holder here. You know, even it came back pretty well from that black candle. I know that's coming down a little bit today, but I think stick with plan A on that one. And we've added, for order of magnitude, a third, and happy to continue with that. I don't think there's any reason necessarily to add another third unless we start to trade above that little zone there, because it's doing everything I've talked about. This conceptually, where you're going, you know, POS. POD, and then you're cracking that next POS. Okay, but we are building higher pods here, so that's encouraging, and it's all happening within a pretty healthy long-term uptrend. So happy to give it the benefit of the doubt. Better candles would drag me into another third. Let's do New Hope, probably heading off a few requests. I don't think it looks as good as Whitehaven. That's interesting itself. I think Whitehaven is the outperformer in those two, but I can certainly go hold here, but the grip on that hold is becoming slightly more tenuous. I'd be really watching very carefully, because again, I'm just showing you this. I'm not teaching you new stuff here. It's the same stuff, and just watch out for this, because this candle here, there's obviously our POS, and our pod. And yeah, this idea of lower POSes break through the pod, it becomes more relevant. I said this at the start, when you've got something really interesting going on here with the candles. And this for me is a major supply event. I'm going to give you another acronym, a major supply event. Okay, for me. So those you do take note. If they're followed up, you know, something that big is something you would act upon the next day if they're followed up. So you really could almost have just knocked out your 1/3 just on the basis of that. You certainly will if today's candle gets much worse from here. I mean, wouldn't have to get much worse from here. Certainly if it closed beneath that low there, 541, which is yesterday's low, then. So we'll go less than 5.41 equals backing out on that plus third that, you know, I suggested we add. And, you know, if you're getting out at roughly break even, that's not the end of the world, because if this trend is actually changing, it'll go a lot lower. And there's no harm, no foul. And you've got to leave your ego at the door when you're trading. You're just trading cattle. I won't give you that analogy again, but it's just, I got in a third. Who cares what the price is? I got out a third. Why? Why did I get in? Because the chart told me to get in. Why did I get out? Because the chart told me to get out. Move on. Okay, let's have a look at, so very quickly, I'm just going to go here to finish off this coal analysis. I'll do a couple of the other ones, but I do want to have a look at the coal chart because I have noted on those Monday morning sessions that coal prices are actually starting to move back up. But I think it's mainly to do with this move back up in natural gas prices. Hasn't been reflected yet in the European ones. So if the European ones got going, then I'd get more excited. But the US natural gas prices are popping up. I think there's potentially a trade here. I'd be happy just to put a little bit of risk on that, just go plus 1/3 on that trade. If you're going, hey, Carl, how the hell am I supposed to do that? Well, it's a nice little segue into this, which is our Think Trader app. And I'll just go into my demo one here. And very easy to log in. If you don't have an account with Think Markets, you should have an account with Think Markets. And pops up, and there we go. I can literally, there it is, copper. Copper. There's natural gas. There it is there. And I can just pop out a trade window here, which might have popped into another screen that you can't see. But rest assured, that's how you would trade it. You could do one-click trading here, but anyway, you'd pop out the screen that you can't see, and then you put in your orders to buy some natural gas, and go through all the information on the website, work out how much you would want to risk on that. And you can risk anything from order of magnitude a few dollars on the trade if you wanted to, but it is that easy to start trading some of these things. And copper's looking pretty weak to me. You could short Bitcoin. Like we talked about, well, is that the reversal on the Dow Jones? Is that the end of the value trade? You could trade that here. That's the US 30 right there. So, there's a whole world of opportunity out there that you can participate in. Crude oil actually looking pretty weak as well. Anyway, I digress a little. Let's keep moving on our journey today. Actually, I just wanted to round off that discussion. So thermal coal prices are popping back up. Yancoal actually looks half decent. Actually, it's we're moving back into these higher peaks and higher troughs. Happy holder there. Don't think I'm rushing out to buy it just yet, but it's on the radar. And then of course Terracom probably looks the worst. No, not probably. It looks the worst of the batch, I would say. You would be max 1/3 exposure, I think, holding on, simply because the long-term trend is still up. So there's our big coal sector review. Hopefully I've answered a few questions down the track. Thank you for Jane saying thank you. These are very informative. Appreciate that. Lithium as usual from Doug. Doug's just saying, Doug hasn't given me a stock. Doug's just going, hey, Carl, it's that time. What is it? It's 10:39 Perth time, whatever it is your time, 1:39 your time. Let's do lithium. Okay, we've done coal. Let's do lithium. Let us quickly have a look at the chart of lithium carbonate. Now there are many different lithium minerals out there. This is just the one I can get a lot of data on. When I say a lot of data, I can go back a few years. The best I can do on other ones is go back literally a month or so. But I can assure you those ones are generally going pretty well. So your lithium hydroxide, we're talking about battery grade products here. There's been a little bit of a pullback here in lithium carbonate. The trend is definitely up. Lithium hydroxide, depending on which contract you're looking at, that one's pulled back sort of similar magnitude, very small, but definitely still up. So the stuff that your Pilbara Minerals, for example, is selling. Let's head over to Pilbara and have a look at that. So, we're getting some context on the underlying commodity prices. And please don't think that the stock has to do what the underlying commodity is doing. That's not true. Because we've got fund managers out there that are very much working on where those prices are going to be, not now, but when all of that huge, deluge of supply hits the market between now and the next couple of years, because, Pilbara Minerals is ramping up, and then you've got all the other Australian producers that are just coming online or about to. And then there are those projects, not just in Australia. You think, Australia's the center of the world for lithium. Hey, we're a big player, but there are lithium projects, in Canada, in the United States, and in Africa, also coming online as well as some in Europe. So lithium is not rare, make no mistake. There's plenty of lithium around. We've just got to get it out of the ground very quickly to meet the increasing demand. So I've probably said too much already. Because at the end of the day, I'm just going to look at the chart and tell you what I think. But we have done all those things, and I think I deleted some of the scratchings from last week. Anyway, go check it. I know I do this every week, but I'm sure I said something like it's time to lighten the load on these lithium companies. And if you don't believe me, then I would have said something. I know I said something like this, and you need to be very careful. Should it because it hadn't happened at that time, should it get beneath that pod, and it clearly did. So we are in very much the manage the exit phase of Pilbara Minerals. I don't think it's anything that's so sinister that you have to say, oh, I'm going to dump the lot, although that is not a crazy thing to do. You might say, I'm just going to be all out of this, and I'm going to wait till it does that pattern, but in opposite at $4, and then I'll have a look at it again. Or you can take the view, you know what, there's plenty of reasons up here. I mean, I'm not going to go into them again, but there's plenty of reasons to do stuff like that, and to only be holding 1/3 at this point in time. Okay, but I think that's order of magnitude strategically. That's how you play something like Pilbara at this stage. I know there'll be a lot of people out there shouting at the screen saying, "Hey, Carl, Pilbara is the best company in the world." It's no worries. You're entitled to your opinions. And this is a little bit concerning as well. It was looking fine. I know it was looking fine a little while ago, but geez, it backed off that pretty quick, didn't it? It backed off here, and then you've got your lower POS, and it's just broken record stuff. There's your pod through there. So yeah, I think you are probably going minus 1/3 on this one, and it's just a wait and see, and a happy holder on the rest, and don't sweat it too much if you're in for the bigger picture. Going to core lithium now. That's a pretty disturbing pullback, and I did say, didn't I? I remember saying that when you have this huge breakout, and then that very sharp major supply event the next day, the problem is you get a bunch of traders now stuck in this one. So you really can get a very acute burst of supply as they bail out. And I'm ditto. I think on Liontown, I think you are managing your exit there, but you're a holder. You're not getting out the whole lot. I think you're keeping some skin in the game on the basis of that. And then we'll work out what to do with that remaining holding once we get there. We can look at something like AGY, which was looking the best. I can't see what's going to come next, but look, I still think you're a holder there. I think if you're very, very nervous, you can knock out a little, 1/3, but I don't think you would go more than that. And I'm almost at the point where I don't think you even need to do that. So that one I think is still pretty much intact. Looking at some of the other ones, I know Sayona is very popular, and it never got going, to be fair. This is the one I was the least enthusiastic about, and I think that view has been absolutely vindicated. We've already looked at IGA. I can't see any reason to buy Sayona. In fact, I can only see reasons to sell it, everyone. So I know it's just such a fan favorite, and I don't know why, because there's nothing in the chart that has suggested to you that it has the right stuff compared to the others. Mineral Resources, I know, very popular. I still think that's a solid hold there. These candles here, I mean, certainly this candle here is a little disturbing, but the comeback here, meant to point there, comeback there is actually so solid. I don't think you need to stress out too much. But hey, you know the drill. Let's watch and see what happens in and around this zone here. So we're watching supply buddies there, but you don't need to do anything. And the great news is that hopefully I'm giving you this information. I don't need to be there on a Tuesday for you to be able to apply some of these strategies and know what to do. I'm trying to think of some other lithium. So, Allkem, there you go. I knew there was one nagging me. Okay, broken record. And this should be reassuring for you that I'm a broken record. This should be reassuring. See, because if I was teaching you stuff on one Tuesday that you never saw again, that's when you need to turn off. There's a button somewhere, press that button and go do something else. Go play Tetris. But it should be reassuring that the stuff Carl teaches me every Tuesday keeps coming up. Like, that's a good thing. I think you know the drill. I'd be minus 130 in that one as well. If I've forgotten any, I'm sure you'll let me know. LRS is the other one. I'm pretty sure this is such a chat room favorite. It's so popular. It's not as bad as Sayona. Look, in fact, it's one of the better ones we've seen. So it actually has, all things considered, held up pretty well. But it's not knocking my socks off. It's a little bit data 3 and it's a little bit PSI, if you get what I mean. So I'm going to go pass on that one as well. Okay, this is from Chris. Let's head over to gold now. Hey, we can do the gold review if you like. Let's look at Newcrest Mining. I think it looks pretty healthy. And you might say, hey, Carl, wait a second. What about all those arrows you've drawn in that dark pink zone? And that dark pink zone, let's face it, is a killer. It is a monster. But, that's if you're just looking at the negatives. I'm looking at some of the positives here. I like some of these white candles in here because when you get into the zone, you should expect to see the black candles. And then we saw them. That's the first test. Remember, I talk about this idea of, stuff doesn't always get through on the first test of supply. You've got to interact with it. You've got to, that demand, because demand is just cash. Cash needs to buy shares to get those shares out of the system so they can't sell themselves again. You can't sell the same share twice unless you're going short. So the next time we hit it, we're hitting it with some white candles. I know it's pulled back a little bit since then. Look, I'm far from a screaming buy on this, but I'm certainly a happy holder. That thesis might change if we get beneath here, because you don't need a huge invitation to get bearish on Newcrest, do you? Okay, so that sort of move I'd be worried about. But until then, happy holder. I'm not a buyer for obvious reasons. Let us, I've done your other one there, Chris, with Allkem. Oh, I haven't done the streamers. Let's do the streamers. Let me check the tweeters. Oh, I've got some tweeters coming through, but I've done RNU. Hello, RJ. So this is Raman on the tweet. AIZ. Look, it's not bad. It's a little bit like the last one. So we just looked at I can't believe it's just gone out of my mind. The last one, we just looked at Newcrest. And yeah, look, I can see some signs that the demand is coming back in, but we can also see just how heavy the supply is in this zone. So look, there's a little high. I'll give you that high there, 75.5. So printing 76, it's starting to look good. It's almost a cheeky buy. Look, it's a hole. It's just not my style. It's not my cup of tea to buy something that is really quite flat, lots of black candles. It's a little bit ho-hum. Okay, so not terrible, but yeah, not going to get me to a buy. I don't want Plato minimum maximizer. I want LPI. If I type it in, it might come up. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about this one, Raman. So this is looking pretty bearish to me. I can see, definitely sort of a trend through there, and really that's the only thing holding it up from maybe going back down to there. And I could be wrong, and I hope I am for your sake. I hope that tomorrow we get a candle that looks like this. Okay, and it's funny when I come back into future weeks and look at this, and people go, hey, that's what Carl predicted was going to happen. No, this is not what I'm predicting is going to happen. I'm saying, hey, it could happen tomorrow. I don't know. I just think it's very unlikely. It might be an announcement, but I just think the path of least resistance is actually this arrow here. Okay, so I can't get to hold on that one. I just think why? If it starts to go up, you can always jump back on, but at least you don't have that pain and stress in the meantime. Broker targets on AIZ. I can do that for you though, Raman. So that's certainly something I can do. So let's head over here. And it's very easy for me to go AIZ and give you the broker target. So if you just want broker targets and broker consensus on something, let me know that as well. Because hey, no harm. I just type it in and we don't have any. Look at that. I'm not sure if that's a mistake from Thomson Reuters, because I've got lots of estimates, but I don't have, so it might be a bit broken there, Raman. I'm sorry, not much I can do on that one for you. Let us keep moving. XRO. Now, why don't we start here on XRO for you, Jeremy? You can't see what I'm doing, and it doesn't matter because we got nothing on AIZ. There were no brokers for some reason. Might have been an error. Okay, we do have plenty of brokers covering 0.15, in fact, so well covered there. Well, we're 3 at a strong buy. Wow. 8 buys, 3 holds, but 2 sells. It's quite a polarizing company. Their average price target is 83.62, which allows for 21% upside. Then I go to the EPS line. I like to look a little bit at the history. So it is a company, one of those tech stocks that finally came good. We've gone from losing money to making money to growing earnings nicely, and then a big pullback. I mean, earnings have halved from FY21 to 22. I don't know enough about the company to tell you why, but the brokers are expecting some spectacular, off the charts growth from here. Compound annual growth rate of 82%. Remember I said the market, is 7%, give or take. Now I'm automatically going to go high risk on such a massive growth rate. I just think that just sounds a little bit optimistic to me. And you might say, hey, Carl, don't do that because I reckon Xero is low risk. I think that's a pretty high risk. Anyway, let's go median PE. So dynamic F is just the broker's median. Look at that, 98. I don't like that. And I have to go here because we don't have a positive growth rate. And yeah, look at 98. I'm not a 98er on this. So the current PE, the current PE for Xero is 727. But there is great growth, and it comes down to 278. And then if you believe they can execute everything that's on screen, it'll be 37, which is where I kind of cap out. I'm tapping out at 40, right? And you're going to see it's about 27% overvalued if I use that. But that's at a high risk rating. Look, because I'm going so conservative here, I might be able to just go, look, if I'm going to leave it at 98, then I'm going to stick with high here. But I might be able to just sneak in, say, a moderate there. Look, it becomes less overvalued in my view. And I'll just show you, for your reference, the low is starting to get pretty close to the fair value target there of the price of the current price. Yeah. Anyway, giving you the various options there. Having a look at Xero on the chart as I change that over. I'm curious now. I wonder, well, there you go. See, my spreadsheet says it's overvalued despite what the brokers say. And remember what I always say about this spreadsheet is that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I tap out on growth stocks at around about 40. And I'm skeptical of this. But so I'm here with this group. Okay, whoever those two brokers are, I'm in that group. Doesn't make us right and it doesn't make us wrong. It just means that that is our view of the world. And then you've got brokers here, they go low rating, and they go, yeah, it's worth 100. It's worth a P of 100. This thing's, it's worth 158 bucks. The highest estimate there is 120. So I can guarantee that a single broker with 120 estimate, they're using some pretty bullish assumptions. There's no right or wrong in fundamental analysis. Fundamental analysis is totally discretionary, and that should scare the pants off you when it comes to fundamental analysis. All those experts on TV that you thought were really clever are just guessing stuff for a living. Hey, I guess stuff for a living too when I look at my charts because I can't know what's coming next, but I don't guess based upon what I think, and that's the difference between me and other analysts. They say, this is my view of the world and it will come true. I say, I've got no bloody clue. I've got no idea what's going to happen next. In fact, don't even listen to me. I'm that clueless about the markets. You decide what narrative you prefer. Let's go general markets for me, ASX, NASDAQ. I did that earlier on, James, so I think we're pretty cool there. Let us keep moving. Can I have your buy, hold, sell and PLS and IGO? I've done that as well, John. CXL, I've done that one. So I'm ticking off some boxes here. Telstra. Okay, now, actually, how did I end up with TLC? TLC, hold, nothing exciting there. And I was going to go to Telstra. Is Telstra trading on a deferred basis or something? Because it's not coming up in here. So it must be TLS DA or something. No, there it is. I don't know why it didn't come up. I can't explain it. I was about to scold you, Chernavaz, for giving me Telstra, because that is kind of the most boring stock on the planet. But it's actually not that bad. It actually looks half decent. I'm going to get to half. I'm not going to go 45% decent. I'm going to go 50.0% decent. It's a hold. I'm a happy holder if you like boring stocks. Maybe it's a little bit warmer than a hold. Look, you're going to get some supply here. Maybe I'll go 51%. You're going to get some supply here. And it's such a slow mover because, oh yeah, it looks half decent, Carl. It might get from $4 to $4.12. Whoop-de-frickin-do. Okay? I'm a hold. Boring. I'm not even going to look at the fundamentals on that because I don't care. This looks really interesting. This looks interesting. Hey, I'm a buy here. I think this is my first plus 1/3 today. Yep, straight up. I'm happy with that. You might, hey, Carl, what about this thing? I can see it there. I'm not too stressed out about it. I like everything else that I'm seeing. I think we're getting ourselves a pretty good run up here into that zone, and therefore I'm happy to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm happy to go right now based upon this candle closing at least where it is, that high there. Sorry, that closed there, 104. So closing 104 or better. Happy to go on to that one. Again, it's a live candle, so you need to go check it at the end of the day. It's a cheeky one. Let's see if we need to build a position, and you might build it above 110 from there. But yeah, happy with that. So thank you for bringing that one to my attention. Chernavaz. Teresa's got Syrah. It's just losing some steam, isn't it, Therese? And it's the same stuff I'm drawing again. I don't like it. This is turning around a little bit. I think you kind of have to do that because the risk is now, and nothing goes up in a straight line forever. The risk is now we come down to here. And we might do something like that. But there's plenty of demand. There's plenty of demand around. It might not even be that bad. Maybe I'm jumping at shadows. Look, I see plenty of demand coming through here. Plenty of demand coming through here. Maybe it's not that bad. Gut feel says minus 1/3 just in case. Okay, just in case. Let's look at DDH. How are we going for time? Look, we're probably about 10 minutes away. I don't mind going over the hour just to get a few questions answered, but we're going to stop doing the fundamentals and we're going to do a real push through here on the technicals to get all these questions answered. Okay, DDH, and I'm going to go just pretty much buy, hold, sell here, okay? Look, I think I can hold it. It's not knocking my socks off. It's a bit like Data 3. It's a bit like PSI. It's a lot boring, okay? So yes, if you are a sucker for punishment, hang on to this and keep getting punished. But maybe there's a bunch of other stuff you could do better with your money because, you know, even if it does go up, it's got like that's where the next supply level is, and it's just a bit boring for me. So yeah, the trends are turning around, but I can't see this going, you know, just rocketing all of a sudden. I could be wrong, but wouldn't be high up on my list as a buy. But I can get to hold. CHN. Oh, this is starting to look interesting. I've been wrong about this. Boy, was I wrong about this because I was calling it a short through here as markets were melting down and gold was looking awful. But the US dollar broke. The US dollar broke down, which meant that gold was able to recover, which meant that Chalice has been able to go up. And I've been wrong. Will I be wrong again by saying it looks better? So there's significant improvement through here. I can certainly go a hold. Would I be a buy? No, I just think we're here now. Look, I'm not averse to it, but it's not striking me as what I'm just rushing out to do. I tell you what, if it does the candles that you know I like to see, and it's not far away from doing one today, but let's say that candle does print something like this. And completeness, let me do that. Okay, so it prints, so that candle ends up being something like this, or you get it tomorrow. You might well get it tomorrow. And then you get the follow through that looks something like this. Then, look, then I will go. Okay, because it's turning trend. Okay, and I will admit defeat on my bearish opinion and say, you know what? I don't care what it is. I don't care what my history of it is. If it's going up, it's going up. So conditional based upon those, I can see that this one is turning around for you, Jonathan. Let's go back to the streamers. Streamers, I might have missed a couple there, sorry. Elders for Ramen. Ramen, I think we've done some of your other ones. Oh, I don't know what happened there. I haven't been following this one. I guess suspect an earnings update or an AGM profit downgrade. No, this is not something I would buy, and I know that's counterintuitive because many of you out there will be going, hey, that looks cheap. I look at that and I go, oh, that looks expensive. That looks like something I want to avoid like the plague, because how high does the dead cat bounce when you drop it from a great height? That's how high you dropped it from, and the dead cat has not bounced. And really, the probability is far more skewed to the downside than the upside. Don't think you're getting a bargain, something on sale here. It's just, this is not how the market works. Ordinarily, when stuff goes down in price, people buy more of it because it's cheap. Now that makes sense if you're buying pineapples. Okay, go down to a local grocery store. Pineapples normally what, $4 each? Those things. If they're on special for $1 each, you're going to buy a bunch of pineapples because they are cheap. All right, and they're delicious, and you can make pina coladas out of them. So pineapples, when they go down in price, buy more pineapples. Stocks aren't pineapples, everyone. Just because stocks go down in price doesn't mean they're cheap. It doesn't mean they're going to go back up to $4 next week when the special's over. Okay, everybody knows what the deal was that brought it down, and the fact they're not buying it. Okay, hey, pineapples go on special. Everybody buys pineapples. Elders is on special, everyone. Nobody's buying Elders. What does that tell you? That one, no, that's a sell for me. Let's go to XTE. Love it, XTek, happy holder there. Would I buy it? I can't see why you wouldn't buy some. Today's candle's not the greatest candle, yesterday's candle. Look, I'm going to go pass on the buy if you don't have it, simply from these two candles are not fantastic, but it's a happy holder there. No more words required. Happy holder on that one. AGY, we did Ramen. We've done PLS, we've done XRO. We're going to do some more gold. We'll do some EVN. Happy holder there. The big question on many of these, so we've talked about this over and over today, is how will this zone play out? Are we going to move back down through some of these pods? And this is a very real possibility for all you gold bugs out there that we do that, and then this run is over and we're back down here in no time. But for now, I can go hold, and the same sort of candles would get me back into a buy. In fact, this compared to Chalice, because at least CHN was getting through the zone. See the difference there? Yet we look at EVN, it's probably not through it. Look, 100% hold, but yeah, just look. There's a lot of good stuff going on. Don't get me wrong. This is a first test, so we've done our first test of this supply zone. We've got nice candles through here, plenty of white candles. We've got the short-term uptrend. So, you know, it's solid 6.5 out of 10, okay? Don't get me wrong. Happy to hold it. But let's see this level be met with some more white candles. I don't mind going in advance of that if the candles are right, but otherwise, you know, waiting for a close above that high there, which is 277.5. So 278 or better, then I'm happy to go plus. So just to give you an idea of where I'm thinking, I'm not thinking about selling it. The sell's off the table. It's just, the question is just whether and where you do that. Okay, and that's just what I'm questioning right now. And you can't expect me, I guess, to just be gushing about everything that pops up on the screen. Some of them are going to be tough to call because they are transitioning between what was the most incredible downtrend, look at the screen, to potentially a new uptrend. Okay, and those things, they're tough to call. Okay, let us go to Seek. Look, it looks okay. I can get to a hold. I'm not a buyer. I just, you know, again, broken record stuff, and I need to see that dealt with. So I'm going to pass on that. Orica, but it looks fine for a hold. And where would the whole thesis change? Look, certainly below there, I would stop holding it, and below there, I would lighten the load. Let's go to Orica, which I'm probably going to go, it's a hold / lighten, just because we're doing this. So we've got this, and this. But at the same time, you've got this. So again, another transition, right? Tough for me to call these ones. Look, I'm going to go hold. I'm going to go hold on this one. I'm going to go hold. I don't think it's a straight out sell, and I don't think it's a buy either. So it's a tough one. And then you've got to say, hey, if it's that tough, why am I holding it? If Carl's having that much trouble trying to discern the trends, why am I holding it? CKF. Elders, ditto. Here's your risk. Even see, these turnaround plays are risky, everyone. They are risky. So here, you know, we're starting to do what Chalice is doing, what we're hoping Evolution's going to do. But they are risky. They've come down for a reason, right? And they are higher risk. And that's why I've just shown that. You can tell that trepidation in my voice when I'm talking about these types of setups. That's a sell for me. That's not a buy. But the candle is live. It could change. If you get a big upper shadow, I could upgrade it to a hold. I won't get to a buy. But if it stays down here, if it closes down here, it's a sell. This ain't coming back anytime soon. It's going to elders. Okay, dead cat bounce. Buy, hold, sell. Marco on CKF as the candle stands. It's a sell. FPH. Oh, there you go, man. This it's like you lot are doing this to me on purpose. You deliberately gave me. Deliberately gave me CKF, which then just like the same chart and then tanked, and then you give me this one, FPH, same chart. These are the same chart. CKF, right? Tanked, and then FPH popped. But it does highlight the riskiness and the dynamism of these types of setups, the turnaround plays. And this is why I say wait for good candles. Hopefully this is what happens to Chalice and Evolution. Look, the candle is still live. There's a bit of a shadow coming in now. I don't want to see that shadow grow any longer. It's not something I would buy today, but it's on the radar now because I like this. I like the fact it's popping. You know, price rises beget more price rises. FOMO, you know, changing of the guards, reconsidering of the value, whatever the news event was today. So this is on my radar now. I'm not sure if I'm going to go today, although if you felt the absolute need to, I would necessarily grab your arm and say, hey, don't do that, okay? Sell is off the table, whereas for Elders and for CKF, I was a sell. Sell is off the table. It's not an option for me. Hold, 100% hold. I'm just tossing up whether to buy it or not, okay? FPH, thank you for giving me that one, Nicola, and thanks for throwing it in just after the other one. EFE, this one's from Roberto. I don't think I'm going to get to the bottom of these, so we might have to pull a bit. Oh, gosh. Yeah, no, we're not there. Now, we've got lots of stuff going on here. And that plus 1/3, I can tell you with absolute confidence, I was saying what would need to occur. That would need to occur to get it, and it didn't happen. If anything, really unfortunate, I think you have to, the writing's on the wall here. Roberto for minus 1/3, or at the very least, if you haven't already done it. Okay, it's not looking good there. That's very disappointing. This is from Hanelli. Should I sell BHP? Don't know. Should you? No. No, I think you're a holder on that one, Hanelli, and we're waiting for what happens in here. But this is the zone where I would seriously consider selling some BHP, taking some off the table because the range is so well defined. And I do think we'll see a bunch of supply up there. But wait for the candles. What sort of candles, Hanelli? That candle, that candle, that candle, or that candle in here. I don't need to be here on a Tuesday to tell you. You'll know what to do. Otherwise, I think it's a hold. Could you buy it? If you want to make that trade to get in there, that's up to you. Okay, how are we going? Stop typing in new ones. I think we're going to call time. I think I've done many of those actually, to be fair. So sorry if I didn't get to yours. We got to many. That's the important thing. Let us say thanks for joining me today. You can join me next week if you like on the Zoom session. So if you prefer to catch me on the Zoom, that's where you would do it. Register at thinkmarkets.com/au webinars, but you're welcome to join me any other way you have today through the various streams. If you are not a client of Think Markets, that's not where I want to be. That's where I want to be. You should be, because we are the good guys in the Australian broking scene. You can trade everything you can imagine for your self-managed super fund at an $8 flat rate, and it is CHESS sponsored. And if you have a super fund and you are not trading with somebody who gives you CHESS sponsorship, you really do need your head read. You can also trade those CFDs we talked about today: natural gas, copper, any of the big indices, commodities, futures, crypto, shares. Shares are commission free. So if you're looking to save some money on your brokerage, hey, $8 is too much or $5 is too much, you go commission free on those share CFDs. And we've got all the major share CFDs from all around the world. We are an award-winning broker, been around for a long time, and come over to us and I guarantee it'll be a good time trading on our multi-asset platform, world-class trading apps on your mobile or your desktop, dedicated account manager who will look after you through the process, and you can call and speak to a real person. Head to www.thinkmarkets.com/au to open an account. If you're watching me on the YouTube recording, hit the subscribe button to stay notified of any future video updates and to get notified every time I do a live stream. If you're watching me on any of the other formats, there will be a like button somewhere. Smash that button to let me know you like what I'm doing, so I'll continue to do more of it. Apart from that, it has been a pleasure chatting with you today. Hopefully you got lots out of the session. All the best until we catch up again. Bye-bye for now.